much, really, but just did hear that there may have been a heart attack and that Ben has been hospitalized. So definitely our prayers going out to Ben, wishing him the best, and to his family too. It's 7:10 here, Tuesday, January 4th. A great local artist. He's covering Bokongos Jam Fagaga right here. Good morning, Facebook Live. The Breeze, 93.9, KUAM-FM, Agotnia, Guam, and we're going to KUAM-TV today? Yes, we are. Coming up in just a little bit right here on the link. Good morning. Senator Telo Taitague. Oh, my gosh, Senator, haven't seen you since last year.
It's been a long time. Good morning, Chris, Jason, and the KUAM family there, and most especially to the people of Guam. Happy New Year, everyone.
Right. So how was your New Year?
Oh, very mellow, which is nice. You know, I have enough drama in my life, at least to have one day out of the year where it's, you know, you just sit back and watch some fireworks and calm and reflect. And of course, everyone tries to, do better things and be a better person and stay healthy. You put that all in your head, like, let's get motivated. So try to motivate myself. And so that's a good thing. Having a time to reflect is really good. But,
so you reflected, and you're going to be a nice senator this year?
I'm always a nice senator. You know, I'm just, I try to be very honest. I am very honest, actually, sometimes bluntly honest, that it might offend people, but in no way do I mean to offend anybody. I just like to tell you straight out, tell you exactly what it is, and what I see, and how we can correct it, or how we can ensure that it doesn't happen again, most especially how it shouldn't happen again. And encourage people to not turn a blind eye. That's always been my motto. You know, people need to step up. They call my office, people call my office for help a lot of times, assistance. But I make sure that they make the initiative, they make the step to try and help themselves first. I'll be right there, right beside them, try and help them open the door, but they need to make that first step. And, I try to encourage that. So that's, one thing I'm trying to do, but I definitely don't want to, intentionally hurt anybody whatsoever. But if you do something wrong, you need to be accountable, especially if it comes from the people's money that you were, committing fraud or, disingenuous.
Right. So let's say there was a situation, Senator, where you had a bunch of employees at a certain government agency who were reinstated after being out of a job. It's real controversial. And anyway, the formula they used to reinstate these people, let's say the whole time they were without a job, they gave them an outstanding review, and they used that to calculate in their back wages. So when it came to it, they were paid an extra $100,000 on top of all their other back wages. And let's say there was a pesky public auditor who did an audit on it and found all this stuff out. Like, what would your reaction be?
Well, first, DJ Cruz, bravo, for doing this audit. It's 2021. Well, he put it out about a couple of days ago, right? It's still in 2021, the end of 2021. And this all started in 2019. It did take a while, but actually, I think this is one of a couple more audits that are going to come up. And oh my gosh, when I was reading his report, his audit report, it's total disbelief. We knew that there was something, some shenanigans going on at the port. And then having it right in front of your face in black and white, clearly the evidence shows that there was some things that were not, what does he call it, discrepancies? I would call it almost criminal, not discrepancies. But BJ is such a nice guy. He tries to mellow the hit a bit, while I'm just bluntly straight to the point.
Right. I mean, let me read you some of the, because he was on here yesterday, Senator, and relative to employees S&T, Public Auditor Cruz had several concerns. Our first problem with that is that the port had decided that everybody they're bringing back they're bringing back, and they're giving them the highest increment annually, which means that their salary every year has gone up 5%. And one employee was terminated from the port at 83, and I'm assuming this is 83 grand a year, and came back, was making 118,000. Auditors contend that because the 7 weren't actually working at the port, they should get the lower increment of 2% instead of the 5%, which is for outstanding work.
Right.
And Cruz had another concern. The supervisor turns in the performance eval, and the general manager has to sign it to certify and implement it. And the problem with the port, I don't know what is happening during that whole period, but for some reason, a lot of these performance evaluations were not signed by the GM. The port says the fact that it wasn't signed doesn't mean it was denied and it can't be withheld. Well, your own port rules and regs state in order to activate that there has to be a signature by the GM.
Right. You know, in the first place, you know, the 2% being, I think it's marginal, then 3% something, and then satisfactory at 4%, and then of course exceptional at 5%. How do you give any kind of rating in the first place when you're not even there? From the time you were let go from the port, how do you give a rating from that whole and build up to the time that you're brought back? I mean, even a 5th grader will tell you they weren't there. How do they get a rating, you know, a step up? And it just, that's clearly, you know, misuse of funds. And it's obvious that it's more than just, you know, having the proof in front, you know, and showing how they created this payout, you know, and how much, about a $1.1 million just for S&T. And by the way, Chris, I don't know if BJ was asked, but this should be public information. Why are you putting an S and a T? Why aren't we mentioning these people's names? This money is paid out from government of Guam taxes. These are taxes from our people. I don't know why this is such a cover-up. This is not a private company. This is government of Guam. S and T should be, you know, clearly their names should be put out there. Why not? Did anybody ask BJ that?
There was another concern he had here. The OPA was also critical of the port's lack of due diligence. Any salary amount earned by the employees while they were away from the port is supposed to be subtracted from the settlement amount. BJ goes on to say, neither one of these 2 employees presented their W-2 forms, and the port didn't ask for the W-2 forms. The port didn't ask for their tax returns for those years to show how much they claimed in their tax returns. Respicio said he'll be forwarding the audit and their response to the AG for his review and guidance. Do you anticipate any action on the AG's part?
I hope so, but we can't rely on the letter that, the response letter from Rory to BJ. And I believe at the end of his letter, he said that I will forward this to the Attorney General for their review. Well, I don't think that just Rory should, you know, forward this. I think it should be, you know, also sent. Well, no, I think it was BJ that said, he said, would Attorney General's opinion seeking let me read this verbatim. Yeah. In absence of any provisions of the PRR relative to the process of an annual increment for reinstated employees, it is prudent for the management to seek board's advice on the appropriate course of action relative to annual increments or seek the Attorney General's opinion moving forward. That was signed by BJ, but I believe Rory also sent, and by the way, I listened to the December 3rd port board meeting to see if this was brought up, but I guess it wasn't delivered yet, the audit. So I'm looking forward to the next board meeting to see how they're going to react to this this audit report. So the letter from Rory states that additionally, just as we have done with your prior audit on these similar matters, and in the interest of transparency, we will be forwarding your audit along with our response to the Attorney General requesting for his review and guidance so that the Attorney General may determine if any post actions are required based on this audit. If any post actions are required based on this audit, I think if there's any criminal intent or conflict of interest or, you know, other, again, shenanigans are going on.
Well, do you think there's something criminal going on here, or do you think they're just playing fast and loose? I mean, I know Rory, and if Rory doesn't sign something, then there's an issue with it.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I know he usually does his homework, but lately, things have been really irate with him. When
Yeah.
I've watched another board meeting where he actually almost like
You
attacked
kind of,
one of the board members for
yeah,
not.
it's so interesting the dynamic where you have a general manager who manhandles his board, and I saw that, and
Right,
this was relative to this resolution that they
right,
had passed.
right.
It was something like string up Senator Joanne Brown, and they sent her over to the AG, and the AG was like, I don't know, good
And
luck.
coaching the chairman and coaching the chairman
Yeah,
on what to do, how to vote, what to say, how to move forward. This was irate. I mean, if anybody watches this video, you'll see that he's basically
really,
manhandling
the
everybody and
lack of
attacking
self control to me was
someone who,
troubling.
yeah, who doesn't agree to him. He's definitely a changed man, and for the good, I don't think so. I mean, but I'm sure glad this audit came out. But the most importantly, we've got all the evidence here. They did the report. They're going to do another report, and I don't know if they were just trying to do smoke and mirrors by having a resolution on let's go after Joanne Brown, to keep the heat off us. Let's go after her and not pay attention to what was going on with us. One of this S and Q person individual, which I still want to ask, I'll be cautious not to say the names unless I'm allowed to, but from what I gather, one of these individuals were hanging out with Rory for lunch and, on personal time, and probably even hanging out at the port, before they were even reinstated. Makes me wonder if they were even involved on the amount of the reward they were going to be given. It's like, okay, this is what I want. And based on BJ's analysis, I believe he said there was even a part where this S or T demanded that they also be given funds before they left the port on increments. It just, oh my gosh. And it's so bluntly in front of the people of Guam, and most especially, Governor, please read this audit, Governor. Don't take, from, Rory, who will come to your chambers and say, oh, Gov, it's just a waste of time. It's, please read this audit. Look what's happening at our port, our lifeline, the port. There are a lot of good employees at the Port Authority Guam doing a great job. There are a lot of them. And when you get one bad apple, it's going to spoil the whole bunch. And that needs to be addressed. So it's just very disingenuous. And I just hope, and pray that, one, we've got an ethics board that's been put into place that hasn't been into place for umpteen years, a decade or more than a decade. Now that they're in place, this is now an opportunity for somebody to file an ethics complaint based on evidence. All you have to do is go to the ethics board with this audit, give it to the ethics board and say, we need the general manager or those involved and the deputy general manager. You need to review this to find out if there was anything unethical about this.
I mean, I don't know. The public auditor he's been doing some bang up audits. He's coming out with these audits and he's basically saying, hey, here's all the red flags. Here, I did all your work for you. Anybody want to take this and run with it? And then the excuses start where it's like, oh, I need a Supreme Court opinion to determine if I should even move forward with this. Or, oh, yeah, we don't like this audit because, the port is going to write a 40-page response to it. So, I mean, I feel like BJ's doing the work, but why do we, the people, have to walk this to the appropriate places? I know the AG watches the news, right? Everyone's watching the news. 15 senators watch the news. The Ethics Commission, they watch the news.
Right.
They see what's going on. I mean, obviously, there's an issue with this Port 7. We all knew that this was the priority once they put Rory in down at the port, that he was going to get these people reinstated. and
Right.
it is what it is, right? But
And one of them worked for him when he was a senator.
yeah, I mean, we know it's conflicted all around. But the point is, if the political will is there and they can do it, and it could pass muster with the Civil Service Commission, of course, why wouldn't it? The deputy GM used to head
Yeah,
the Civil Service Commission.
it's payback. It's payback.
And so that's what I'm saying. If we get that, and the political will, and Adeloop is going to read this audit, and they're going to be like, "Good job, Rory." What is the real remedy, though? Right? Because it's clear that there was some shenanigans going on.
Right. What is the real remedy? Are people going to step forward? This is your hard-earned tax money that's being spent.
Why do we
that's
have
been-
to step forward, though? It's right there in black and white. These
Right.
employees
The
weren't
Attorney
even
General's
working. They
making-
got the sweetest deal possible. Is it legal?
I think the Attorney General should make the initiative. They have in other cases. Will they make an initiative? This I'm not sure. I definitely will make a phone call there. But as far as the ethics board is concerned, that we have one in place. They're not just there to ensure that everybody takes an ethics course and that's all they're going to do. No, they're there to look into investigate certain things that come up. Reports like this audit report come up, but I think with that they're going to need somebody to file a complaint in order for them to move forward. If not, then I hope they make the initiative as well and look into this. But I will find out if they will have to wait until somebody brings it to the forefront.
What else you got on your plate for 2022?
Well, 2022, I have two major projects. One that I was working on, I took a trip to Honolulu, took my dad for the holidays. That's what I was telling you, that Hawaii, it's just a tidal wave of, positives coming up. I came there and when I arrived in Honolulu, it was 1,800 positives, which I thought, okay, it's population of over 1 million, right? And then by the time I left, it was 3,300, and that's only those who have been tested through the government process or clinics. But what about those taking home tests? So it was pretty scary, this tidal wave Omicron that's hitting Hawaii. You can only expect it's going to come to Guam. But while I was there, I had an opportunity to visit some assisted living facilities, and I was very impressed on what they have in Hawaii, several places there. So working on that. And then another one that I've been working on, but I don't want to bring it up until I know that I can actually, push forward with this particular, but it's a big one. It's a big one. Other than that, I had a public hearing on a bill, 215 yesterday, which increases the 5-year lease agreement for companies to go into an agreement or a contract with the government of Guam from 5 to 10 years. But of course, the caveat is that after the 5th year that they have to go through a process to ensure that they're in good standing before moving on to the next 5 years. Only 2 agencies showed up, where I was very surprised, because it was the airport. When I introduced the bill on the 35th, the airport and GITA was really in favor of this, not only wanting it to be increased, but wanting it to go to 20 years or 25 years. Kind of like what Chamorro Land Trust has. They have the ability to go up to 21 to 25 years in property at 21, and then lease agreements, I believe, in 25 years. So that was met with some opposition from my colleagues. And rightfully so, I heard some of their concerns. So I'm setting this aside a bit and doing some more research on it before moving forward.
Hey, what did you hear about we had a story yesterday out of Nestor Lecanto. The legislature currently without legal counsel as Attorney Ana Wampat Bora resigned effective New Year's Eve, citing family reasons, and Legislative Legal Bureau Attorney Stacey Salas also stepped down. The Bureau required to provide legal services to all senatorial offices. The legislature's executive director, Carlo Branch, that's where he's at, guys. He's the legislature's executive director. Says the search for new counsel is ongoing. It's not clear yet if legislative session will be held this month or postponed until another attorney is hired and approved by the body. Branch says he's not aware of any rule or law that requires that legal counsel be present during session, but as a practical matter, senators frequently consult counsel on all legal questions during session proceedings. I guess first question, what happened? Do you know?
No, I don't. I really don't. Maybe there are opportunities for Anna and Stephanie on, other areas that will help their career along. Experiences in different fields is very helpful too when you're an attorney. So I think maybe it's time to move on to something else. So I really don't know. But I wish them the very best. Anna has been very helpful with me. Every time I've had a question, she's been there to answer it. So has Stephanie. They've been really easy to work with. And I hope that the next attorney we have, legal counsel we have, will be that easy to work with. And a hard worker too, because a lot of bills are introduced and they really need to be scrutinized. Other than Speaker Chalahi, no one else is an attorney. And these are laws that are created, really need that expertise of someone who would study with law. I only have a education and paralegal background, but definitely not a full attorney. So I definitely need the assistant. I was hoping that this would be an opportunity, and I wanted to speak to the speaker about it, and if she's listening, which she probably is, she loves the link, so I'm hoping that maybe this is an opportunity for the Republicans to have their own attorney and the Democrats to have theirs. I remember in the 30th Guam legislature, that's exactly how it was set up. We had our own attorney and they had theirs. So when there was any discussion or, not agreeing on something, at least you have two attorneys debating the situation, and it made it very helpful. Also, it was very helpful that we had access to our own attorney. There was confidence that things were confidential, that they would keep it confidential. And before bills are introduced, we have that attorney to truly scrutinize it and to ensure that all our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted. So I'm hoping that the speaker would be amenable to that, and as well as the other senators. Like I said, it takes 8 to make anything happen.
Did it have anything to do with the error that was passed into law? Do you know?
I don't know. Was that the straw that broke the camel's back?
Well,
I don't know.
That implies that there were other issues with the legal counsel.
I think it's a lot of work, a lot of pressure. That's for sure. To get these bills done, so at least to be reviewed.
So I guess next question, Senator, do you think that you guys could have session? Do you think you could have session without a legal counsel, or
that I may have to look into? Yeah, the standing rules, even the Masons rules. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that. But I really would feel uncomfortable not having an attorney there while we're having session. I would really feel uncomfortable. Things might have a standstill because of it. Rules of engagement. There are a lot of, now that we have a couple new senators who've come into the 36th Guam legislature, who know the rules, the Masons rules, and they're able to, literally, hold on, point of information. This is not a motion to move into this. They're actually correcting some of the motions that are made on the floor, what you can and cannot do. So I would really feel comfortable having an attorney that's well-versed.
Did you get your COVID pin, Senator? You guys had session during the pandemic, right?
Oh gosh, there was never a break during COVID, not just doing what, trying to move things forward and keep going and addressing how we're, how we're going to help, our community with this pandemic. We went to session. I think we didn't miss session at all. We had it every month. And, but a pen, no, I don't think we need a pen. I don't think we need a pen. What I do think is those people who were entitled to hazardous pay need to get paid. That's what I think.
Are you talking about premium pay for essential workers, both private and public sector?
Absolutely. It was offered to them. It was provided to them. Funding was given to Guam from the federal government, to assist them. So I think they should get paid. A pin, is this something to hold off or say, okay, we'll give you a pin, never mind the pay? No, that's ridiculous. No, it's not going to work.
All right. Well, Senator, good luck this year, and keep in touch.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask before you go, audit, we're talking about the audits, public auditor VJ Cruz, they released the new audit schedule for this year. And
Yes.
my, I don't know if you saw item, hold on here.
Okay.
Please open your auditor missile to,
Two-page, but
yeah, it's the annual work plan for calendar year
Right.
2022 from the public auditor.
No fewer than 18 pages.
18 pages, right, Jay? But the audits that they're going to work on are outside of the regular performance audits. Oh, God, this is way deep in here. The audit topics that they're going to do are above step recruitment here. And this is the third one. It's the entire government of Guam. He's going to do an audit on above step hiring practices, which has been a very hot topic
yeah.
the last few months.
What page is that, Chris?
That is on page, this page 4, I think.
Page 4?
Right.
Okay.
And so you can see the audits. He's going to do an audit on GMH, physician services contract and compensation packages, which I think is going to be
Right.
very interesting.
Right.
GPA, the procurement of the GPA Ukudu power plant. That's another hot one. Gov Guam above step hiring practices. GIPA, Guam EPA oversight on chemical disposal by Gov Guam agencies and departments. UOG, the Research Corporation of the University of Guam. Gov Guam wide an analysis of Gov Guam agency leases. And GSA, here's another hot one, sole source procurement.
So this.
So just your comment, I guess, if we could get one on above step hiring.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The government of Guam above step hiring practices. He's going to be busy with number 3. That's for sure. A lot more so than anything else, I think. Yeah, and number 7, which is the GSA sole source procurement.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, these 2 alone is going to take up a lot of his time. And it's unfortunate. I was hoping that number 3 would be number 1. But then again, we're finding a lot of these above step hiring practices are happening at the Guam Memorial Hospital. And I'm wondering, is he going to go 1, 2, 3 down the line with this? Maybe ask him that question. But he should really start with number 3, Gov Guam above step hiring practices. We just don't have the funding, right now. We're losing $1 billion from the federal government that was anticipated to come here to cover roads and other areas that are needed, infrastructure, and that's not going to happen now. So I really think that we need to start tightening our belt, financially. This year is going to be a very testing year on our finances. It might look good right now, but money just slips through your fingers really quick.
Especially when you spend it.
$1 million is nothing anymore. $1 million is nothing anymore. With inflation coming up, it's going to get even worse. But I hope, BJ, if you're listening, please start with government of Guam above step hiring practices, please. Then Guam Memorial Hospital.
Right on.
Those 2, because it's already, we've already taken a lot of initiatives, as well as yourself. KUAM News doing a lot of the research on this has been very helpful to even senators who are also looking into this. So greatly appreciate all the hard work that you're doing, and KUAM for your New Year's resolution. What is yours, Chris Barnett?
I don't know. I'm going to keep doing the same thing. I think it works.
That's great.
No new me. You're getting the same me. It's tried and true. It's classic.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Senator.
Okay, well, you guys be safe.
Right on.
Omicron is just, it's coming in our back door. We're watching Hawaii with this tidal wave of positives.
Yeah.
Gonna start hitting this way. I know my family in Hawaii now. They've got it. All of them. 15 of them have it, and so it's making its way to Guam. Wow. So
sounds like we got to sanitize the Zoom room, Jay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Senator.
Bye,
Good
Jason.
luck. Good luck. God bless. All right. Wait. You always